Hi, it's Erica from blacksandperiodfilms.com, and I am here for day 2 of our Write It series for Black History Month. In the Write It series, we basically look at vintage pictures of people of African descent, people in the African diaspora, and we kind of discuss how we would tell their story. Some of these people will be legends, Black history legends, and other people will be unknown people, everyday people. But we just have their pictures, and so we're gonna do some fan casting in some of the videos and just have some fun with history. Today, we are talking about the double portraits of these two little pages, Sideron and Cupid. They were from the West Indies and they were valued members of William V's Dutch Republic Netherlands court. So I have an interesting, I had an interesting thought process about pages before I researched these two guys. Before learning about Cupid and Sideron, I felt that I felt kind of removed from pages because there were so many images of them. They were mostly young. It was very rare that you see adult pages. So I felt like they were pretty much lost to history. You might know their first name or, you might see one picture of them. But with Sideron and Cupid, I have a renewed interest in pages because I learned so much about them. And before we go further, a page is a young um, attendant of a nobleman. So they delivered messages and did things of that sort. So there are so many pages. These are just 4 pictures, but there are so many more. And they were members of noble homes, servants, like Sideron and Cupid. A series about their life at court would be very interesting to me. They were members of a valuable court. They were valuable members of a court. And that's something we've never seen before. But it's possible to do a series on their life because we know so much about them. We know that they weren't slaves because there's proof that they were paid 156 guilders a year. They're listed in an employee list. So that's good because a lot of times I would look at these pictures and think they were, slaves, but they really weren't. They were servants. So that's an interesting dynamic, something that I didn't think would actually happen. Additionally, we know that Sideron gets married and has a daughter. We have written documents written by them because they were educated. They knew Dutch, they knew French, they were taught dances, they were taught to shoot. So they were basically given in a position where they were privileged servants. Additionally, we know from their letters that Sideron was considered the dependable of the most dependable of the two. His handwriting was very steady. He could be depended on to watch over people. Uh, Conversely, Cupid was seen as the more vain of the two because he would spend his pay on clothing. He had a lot of clothing. He loved to look elegant and nicely put together. That would be very interesting to see in the series as well. A lot of times with pictures of servants, especially with pages who kind of tend to blend into the background of these pictures, a lot of times you kind of look past who they are as people. So a series about 2 pages, I think, would be amazing because it would give life to these young people in the pictures. Who were these people? Who were their names? Where are they from? So here are more pictures of them into adulthood. It's so amazing. So great that we have so many pictures of them. And we know that there's an interest around these 2 young pages because there recently was a book, which is in Dutch, so I can't say exactly what was in the book because I haven't read it. And there also was an exhibit about the African servants of these courts. It's a temporary exhibit, but the fact that it ran from September 21st, 2017 to January 28th, 2018 really says a lot that it lasted for that long. I think a series about the privileged African descent members of the Dutch royal court would be very amazing, something we've never seen before. There have been series about royal courts where we've seen maybe one black person in it and they're only in one episode and they don't really have that many lines. There's one show in particular I'm thinking about right now, but a show specifically about these two, it would be we've never seen anything like that before, and it would just be so interesting. What does being and they came over when they were young, so of course the show would have the excitement of them fleeing the French revolutionaries because they were there when the royal family fled. It would have intrigue. It would have the politics of being in court, but it will also have them grappling with their identity. Who are they? It's good that they had each other, but being, and we can look at these pictures again, they were usually the only two black faces in the crowd. So what was that? What did that feel like? Being the only two black people there, but being in a privileged position where you were paid more than coachmen, than the lackeys. So what did that feel like, and how did that play on who they were as people? Did they have to put on the front when they were in front of others, or did they talk about it to each other? Did one feel more at home than the other one felt? There's so much we can do with Sideron and Cupid's story. How would you write this story? It's so interesting to me. So many dynamics and so many layers to this. The fact that they weren't slaves but paid servants. The fact that they were paid more than other servants and are essentially in a place of privilege, um, but at the same time not, because they had their identity taken away or their native identity taken away. It's so amazing. How would you write this story? However you would write this story, I think you should just go out and write it. See you later.